Hello and welcome to the STUK on Self-Love podcast. STUK Designs is a successful nonprofit for girls and a clothing brand run by young women from around the world. At STUK Designs, we believe in self-love first because self-love is the dawn that marks the beginning of all the different kinds of loves and because it undoubtedly sustains success. This podcast shines light on strong and talented women who excel and persevere in life while bathing in abundant self-love. So if you're ready to keep it real, level up in all your inner work, creative business, and community impact, then you've come to the right place because we provide you with content that helps your soul glow and your mind grow. Thank you for pressing play. Let's dive in.
Hey, STUK community. Welcome to another episode of the STUK on Self-Love podcast. So happy to be here again. And today I wanted to talk to you all about why learning self-love at a young age is so important and what is this thing that STUK Designs calls self-love art education. Like, what even is that? So I wanted to kind of dive into this topic and kind of break down some facets of our nonprofit, as well as create some parallels to some of the facets of our nonprofit, to my actual life and to what I've actually been through and how it relates to my own experiences. And so like why I have such a passion for this. So I would like to open it up with kind of posing this question to all of you. And so I'd like to ask you, how different would your life be, or would your life have been if you learned self-love at age 3 or 5, somewhere, like in that, age realm space? Because for me, I know that my life would have been completely drastically different had I learned self-love at such a young and socially preconditioned age. I think that so many aspects would be different, but I'll get into that in a bit. But I really wanted to pose that to you all because I think that it's such a triggering question and it's such a thought-provoking question. And it really does bring to the attention just how transformative the power of self-love is and how socially transformative it can actually be within social structures, especially education. So this is kind of the topic that I wanted to dive into. So for me, if I answered that question, I think in pretty much every way, my life would be different. I know firsthand from example, just how growing up with self-love is versus not, due to how I've witnessed and raised my own sister. My sister is 10 now, but I was her nanny actually until she was 3. So for like 3 years of my 20s, I was blessed enough to watch her and really kind of take her under my wing and really teach her self-love and then also weave in art and art education as well. So she is like the example of like a STUK girl. And, she really helped evolve, my vision for it, my vision for the programs, and really me just being able to make sure that the programs worked and that they ran fluidly and that, like the coloring books were effective and like the art classes and lessons that I wanted to teach, were effective. And just like I've tried everything that I've pretty much ever done with STUK, with her, and she's just been in love with it. And it's so amazing, like seeing her thrive in self-love and creativity. And she's just flourished into this like inquisitive, genius 10-year-old and who knows herself at age 10 and who is not afraid to like ask questions and be curious and to do herself, do you, you know? And so I think that when put in that context, it's really just like, wow, you know, like her life is just so much like it's flourishing and blooming, and there's such positivity and light in it because from the very she has and had a, like this energetic foundation laid for her life, you know, by people who are conscious of the power and importance of mindfulness and self-love. So, you know, she had this like preordained kind of beautiful foundation laid out, and it then, you know, that creates a foundation for her to build her own life upon, to build her, you know, values that she comes to on her own upon, and to have her life, you know, flourish and bloom based on this solid grounding foundation of self-love that, you know, she was blessed to have at such an early age. I mean, she technically, I was infusing self-love into her even before the age of 3. Like, you know, I watched her from 1 to 3. So like I would take her to crystal shops, you know, like when she's like a 2-year-old, she was picking out, you know, crystals and understanding energy and vibration and frequency and how that affects her and her vibe and her body and, you know, who she is as a little girl, you know? And so it's also, I think, infused a lot of just like kindness and compassion in her. And, you know, as a Leo sun sign, which she is, I don't know if I think, you know, sometimes no shade, but sometimes that sign can have, you know, the tendency to be a bit you know, just like self-consumed, just like but to a point where you kind of like neglecting other people's like emotions, or you just want to like hoard it all and you just want to have the shine and you don't want to share things or whatever. So, you know, I've definitely seen those aspects in her, like, you know, just she doesn't like to share things. It's hard for her, but it's like she has this solid grounding foundation of self-love. So she always, you know, extends that kindness and wants to, because she understands how it makes people feel, because she understands that core essence of self-love and that it starts first, you know, with her. So she understands like, hey, like she at such a young age can put into context like, hey, you know what, I don't think that that would make me feel good, so maybe I should share with this person, you know? So anyway, that's just like an example of like how I'm seeing her own life thrive and bloom, and how it really just shows me that I mean, self-love, it should be included in every structure, in every institution. There's no reason why we should really have to even advocate for self-love, like, because it should be something that is innate and internal, and it is within us all. But it's like there's so many social structures, people, society, like everything, it's just, it blocks us from the truth of knowing that which we are, you know, which is that we are always loved, we are always safe, we are limitless, we are full, we are magic, we are complete, you know, we are ultralight beings, as I love to say, thanks to Kanye. um, but you know, like my self-love journey has just been such a lesson, and really just like a lesson in also in how I ultimately, you know, want to parent or bring up, you know, a child or children, and how differently it will be infused with the consciousness of self-love, and with self-love embedded in family structure, embedded in friendship social structures, embedded in education social structure, and especially embedded in art, because I do think the two weave in and out and can flow together and go hand in hand, essentially. So, you know, over the years, as I was really coming into my own self-love power and really harnessing how to love myself fully and completely and without hesitation, and with no shadow of a doubt. This was a time when I was in college and I was really coming into my own. And this was also the time around when my sister was born. And so it's just like, it was such a profound time because it was just like new life, and then but also new life on top of new life, because I was coming into in a new chapter of my life, in falling in love with myself and being, embedded in this new frequency, I guess you'll call it, of self-love. And so, she awakened my life in so many ways, but also awakened me to how I want to really run and flourish STUK as a company. So let's fast forward a bit to when I went to Ghana. And when I went to Ghana and really pioneered our Little Hardest program, that's when I also really saw the profound impact that self-love can have on community, can have on education, and most importantly, can have an art education. So fast forward to when I traveled to Ghana to do our STUK Designs mural at our partner school, Diamond State Academy, in Kumasi, Ghana. I was just blown away with how our Fly Girl Ghana ambassador Medina, she really infused self-love in her teaching, but in her teachings, but also in her life. So like I was able to see the effect of self-love on community, on education, and on art education, and what a profound difference it made in their, just environment, in their culture. Because when I went to, after that, and I took one of our STUK programs, our Little Hardest program, to Watts, it was a much different experience. There was no self-love as a base or as a foundation or as a grounding force, and it was a completely different situation and environment, although the disparity and the lack of resources and money was very similar. So to give a little context, like when I went to Ghana, unlike, it was pretty much the same as like Watts. There was no there were basically no resources. There was no, the kids didn't even have their own pencils. They didn't have their own notebooks. They didn't have their own crayons. They didn't have paper. They didn't, let alone notebooks. They didn't even have textbooks at the time that I went. There had absolutely no resources, and we were, blessed to be able to do what we could. So we were somehow able to, with bare minimum, funding, able to get the girls at Diamond State Academy coloring books and crayons, and really have them start creating for most of them, I'd say like 95% of them, for the very first time in their lives. Like I actually had to teach a lot of them how to hold a crayon in their hands because they had never colored before. They had never even done it. So, it's interesting because on the day we, colored with Medina's class, I remember passing out the coloring books and the crayons, and I was, oh my gosh, it was just such a mission because I didn't know that there were so few resources. So I had to, like, the day before we did it, me and Medina had to rush around Ghana, Kumasi, and just it specifically Kumasi because that's where the main lack of art resources, art supplies are. So we really had to, we went to the mall, we were running all around. The only place that had kind of like art supplies was kind of like I'd say it was like a Smart and Finals looking place. So we really just had to scrap and scrape and find the supplies that we could, and we did. And so I finally got them and I was so excited, and I passed out the coloring books with the supplies and everything to the kids. And then I was like, all right, let's go. Like, let's color. That's what I remember thinking. And then I'm looking and they're just so confused and they're all just like, huh? Like, we don't know what to do. What is this? Like, what is this thing you call coloring? So yeah, they just were like so confused. I remember like them having little boxes of crayons in their hands and looking at the coloring books, and they were so confused. And it took me a minute to put together, like, oh, they've like literally never colored before, they've never had this experience before. So I have to teach them. And but at the same time, they did have an understanding of self-love from Medina. They had an understanding of their own uniqueness, their own brilliance, their own individuality, because something that Medina is great at when she runs her classes is doing little special things to make her children feel unique. Like she went viral because she did a handshake. She did a special handshake with each child that entered her class. And it really uplifted each kid. And she was on the news, on multiple news stations, and that's actually how I became in contact with her, connected with her, and met her, because I saw that this video went viral and I thought it was such a distinctly unique expression of self-love and of celebrating the inner light of each and every child that enters your space, enters your classroom. So she had that grounding and that foundation for her space. And so paired with self-love, paired with these coloring books that I brought, it really just ignited something super special. Below this episode, I'll tag Medina's handshake video, as well as the kids at Diamond State Academy coloring for the first time, because it is such joy, because they were like, wait, like, I love myself. And this is so fun because this is just like me expressing myself. It's an expression of myself. It's expression of my inner light. And that is so much fun. And it just like ignited my soul and my spirit that they got and understood that, because most people in America just don't understand that, like, let alone why, like, they just don't understand why coloring in general, I think, is important to a lot of people. And we hope that changes. Thank you to all of you who have participated in our Color for a Cause initiative. But there's a supreme lack of consciousness, lack of awareness, lack of respect and concern for like energy, because energy is very real. Sometimes, I always say, yeah, your energy introduces you before you even walk into a room, or it's the first thing that people really, it's a first impression people get of you. Energy is very real, but energy and essence isn't something that we really like respect or pay tribute to or honor in America. And that's also why I think that there is, like a supreme lack of respect for artists in America, because artists are essence. Artists are, we believe in the unseen, and thus in lies the controversy, a lot of the time. So once the STUK girls at Diamond State Academy had self-love under their belts, and then with us bringing in art and combining the two, it really ignited something special, something unique, something that I think only we as a nonprofit are able to do and able to bring across. So reframing again that question of, how different would your life be if you learned self-love at age 3 to 5? Like we literally in Ghana, we were teaching, girls like they were about five, I would say like about 5 to 6. But I've also taught younger. And then in Watts, we taught girls a little bit older. STEP programs go from about 3 to 5 to like, I'd say 13, middle school age. That's what age the girls in Watts were that we taught. And so the experiences were so drastically different, though, just within their levels of consciousness, within their levels of understanding, peace, creativity. Like, because Medina is able to cultivate such a space of self-love, in her own life, and it vibrates out to Diamond State Academy, which is, like her father founded that school, built it from the ground up. And then, any other school she teaches at, because she teaches at various schools, and through the Fly Girl initiative, alerts us to the STUK girls that she thinks needs most help. But she just is an overwhelming pool of just like this, gratitude of self-love and kindness and thanksgiving. And it's something that I think it's even rare in Ghana, but it's something that I cherished being in Ghana about. And I think that being in Ghana definitely like reignited and renewed my faith in humanity and human kindness, because for a while before I went to Ghana, I think that my hope had really almost dwindled out, about just humanity, kindness in people, in my own personal life. And, just as a nonprofit, I just really didn't feel supported. I didn't feel like anyone cared. And that trip changed everything for me. And because it changed everything, it also like opened up a door for me to keep walking this path with Serafina and Medina, who are our Fly Girl ambassadors. And if you don't know, Fly Girl stands for First Love Yourself. It's our second program. Little Hardest is our first program. Fly Girl Initiative is our second, and that's our grant program in which they pick girls monthly for us to give back to support, to create projects, programs for their needs, because they have such an eye for, girl power, and for girls that just could be their full potential, could be reach their full peak of creativity had they just had some funding, some financial support, some help. So just Medina and Serafina is actually her best friend, which is amazing because they are our ambassadors, but they're just so like-minded to me and to each other that it creates this like wave of love and abundance and of giving. And I'm always so excited each month when we embark on a new project with them. And due to all of the funding that you guys give us, we're able to create new projects. Like for example, this month they are doing a period poverty project, and they're getting sanitary napkins to the girls that need it most, because how can you even be creative or even think consider creativity and diving into creativity without that self-love and self-care of taking care of your bodily needs first. And it's like, if they can't afford that, how can they really do anything else? And this is such the struggle that we face as Black women, as Black girls, because we, especially in America, we're in this society of systemic racism that stems from slavery, essentially. So it's just like we're in this like endless loop of having to figure out how to pay for things that should just be essential, that should just be covered for, that we shouldn't ever have to worry about or think about, like because like these are the bodily needs that every single human person has. Like this is humanity. Like like we should be able to be human beings and take care of our human needs without having to worry about this stress of like where this money is coming from. So with the Fly Girl Initiative, we're able to allow girls, Black girls predominantly, but also Indian girls, Latinx girls, like we just want to, you know, really make sure that their basic needs are met so that they can thrive creativity, so that they can have that space to create, to thrive, to grow, just as my sister has done in her own life, because she's never had to worry about that. She's never had to worry about like where her next meal is coming from, how, or she won't ever have to worry about, where her sanitary napkins or pads or tampons are coming from, or if she's even gonna eat, if she can stay in school. And these are very issues girls in Ghana face every single day, but these are also the same very issues that girls face in Watts, and that in almost worse conditions than in Ghana. But we can make changes in Ghana because of like the exchange rate factor, but for us to make changes in Watts in spaces in America that are deeply underserved, it's like we just need so much more support. And for support, which is like we need to cultivate so much more awareness. And it's hard because, with freedom of speech lacking and being blocked at every turn in America these days, especially on social media, a lot of the time, it's really been hard for us to get our voices out and to be heard and to be seen and to really let you guys know what is happening there, what is the reality of like what these girls are enduring, what we are enduring as women, firstly, and just not firstly, but just like as women, because we all are as women, and then as women, as Black women. I'm a Black woman. Tazeen is an Indian woman. Madeline is a white woman. It's like we have different perspectives, and Medina and Serafina are African women. And it's just like, so we all understand the idea and the very reality of oppression as a woman, and we've all faced oppression as a woman in different countries in the various different countries that we live in, because Tazeen is in India, and me and Madeline are in the US, but Serafina and Medina are in Ghana. So we all have very different, like perspectives of dealing with being a woman and dealing with our ethnicities within our own cultures and in our own countries. And this is always like what I wanted for STUK, because I wanted those different perspectives. So for me, I'd say that, if I had learned self-love like at a younger age, I mean, I wouldn't have had this the overwhelming number of like toxic relationships that I probably had. And then I also just wouldn't have faced all the like adversity just in elementary school that I had, and all of that as well. Like, I think that a lot of the stuff that I went through was simply just because like my parents were not even aware that like self-love was a thing, or that like, creating an energetic foundation or grounding for a child was even necessary, for the life of a child. Because I think it is like, if you like have understand energy and say like you love yourself and you envision this loving, beautiful, thriving life for your child, like it's going to transfer, it's going to happen, it's going to evolve, because like your love is flourishing and overwhelming and bubbling over. But like if you come from a family that never really understood that, and you don't have like others kind of like, just like praying for you, for blessing you, like putting their protection and their energy on you, and then you don't even know how to do that yourself, life becomes kind of, it just becomes different. It becomes a different thing. And speaking from the context as a Black woman and as Black people, like, that's something that we do within our ancestry. We pray over our children, we protect our people, we pray over our friends. And that's it, that relates back to our lineage. And if you're unaware of that and unaware of like energy in itself and how it moves and flows through your daily life and through every single person, place, or thing that you interact with, like then it's like you can't really embed that within your child if you have a child. And that's definitely what I faced like growing up, and just being a kid and a very energetically sensitive kid who grew up in a home of people who had zero energetic awareness or emotional awareness or even emotional intelligence, because they just aren't aware. And and a lot of it is just like them not being aware because they don't care to be aware, they don't care to be mindful, they don't care to to tap into awareness and consciousness. And it is something that you have to be interested in. Self-love, your own growth, your personal growth, your development, it is something that you need to be personally interested in for it to work. And that's, I think, a lot of what we as a nonprofit have faced from like community and from the outside like perspective, because like a lot of people are, especially in America, are resistant to to going deeper, to tapping into their energy, to understanding self-love, to understanding themselves, because it is not an easy journey. Self-love is not some like simple, easy journey. It's hard a lot of the time. It's painful a lot of the time. You have to really go through the darkness and go through your shadows in order to get to the light and to get to that love, because like to uncover all of the self-love that we are innately born with. There's so many layers of like things people said, things their family members said, things friends said, situations that happened, trauma that happened, events that happened, losses, deaths, everything like has an ability to cover up self-love. But all the things that we include as a nonprofit and as individuals, like, our STUK meditations, our STUK blog, our Patreon, our art classes, these things are meant to help you to bury yourself out of all of that doubt, all of that fear, all of that illusion that other people, that society, that capitalistic society, that the patriarchy has put on you, so that you can come out of it, bury yourself out of it, and come out in the light of self-love and creativity and doing what you want with your life and doing what you love and knowing what you're passionate about, doing you, knowing who you are, knowing your worth, knowing your value. And then because your cup is so overwhelmingly overflowing with light, love, glory, and abundance, you have then the power to give to others with that same abundance, with that same love, and with that same flow. And so, like, it's been really hard to get the American public to really see and to understand why self-love is imperative. It's not just something we think we need. It's something that may or may not be needed in our systems, in our workplaces, in our educational environments, in classrooms, in homeschool, in our homes, in our personal love relationships. It's something that needs to be included everywhere, in everything. And until we as a people can really acknowledge that, like, I really don't think that we can really be superior to any other place or country, because other countries who America looks down on and calls third world have a vast amount of self-love in a lot of circumstances, because they've had to. Like, when you grow up or have to thrive in an environment where self-love is, there is none, or there isn't love, or there isn't positivity, then you're even forced more to cultivate it within yourself and to bring it out. Like, that's what I witnessed in Ghana. Like, I've never experienced as much joy in people as I have when I went to Ghana. They're just overwhelming with love and positivity and happiness and dancing and light and love and glory. It's just like so amazing. And the music sounds like sunshine. And it's because like once you've been through that struggle and that adversity, and once you pulled yourself out of like the low, you know, you realize that this highness, that everything that you're looking for, it's really in yourself. You are the love, you are the light, you bring the party, you bring the flow, you bring the flow into your work, into your company, into your dynamic. But until you know that love starts with you, everything starts with you, you know, until you love yourself fully, you can't fully give, you can't fully be a successful philanthropist or a, you know, nonprofit owner. You can't give in the ways that you really want to give to your friends, to your family. You can't be in a fully genuine, fully blissed out, successful marriage because you are not in alignment with you. Everything starts with you. Everything is a reflection of you. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring home. And, you know, and then the fact that art combined with that power of self-love is just like, it puts you on a new level. It elevates you, it levels you up. And so that's why I would love for more people to participate in our Color for a Cause initiative. We are, you know, calling out for people to come together and color, whether you're a man or a woman, trans, gay, straight, we don't care, black, white, brown, blue, anywhere in between, you know, like purple, blue, you know, Asian, Native American, whatever you want to be. We are all inclusive, and we just want this community to fill you up, to help fill your cup back up. And when you color with us, you're collaborating with us. When you color with us, you are helping us to raise more awareness so that we can actually, you know, raise the significant amount of funding that we need, that we want, that we desire to make the significant change that we need to make in this world right now, because we are in a pivotal era change. We're in a pivotal global, you know, world order structure change right now, and self-love needs to be a part of the change. Self-love needs to be embedded in our structures. Art needs to be a part of the change. Art needs to be embedded in structures. Artists need to be respected, you know. Art is a real job. We all need to be respected for what we do, you know. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for investing in yourselves. Thank you for, you know, taking this time to honor self-love, honor the self-love in yourself. Because if you're here, if you've gotten to the end, and if you're listening to this, like, you know, then that means something. That means something to me. That means something to us as a nonprofit. And that means that you actually care about humanity, about what's going on, about what real people are doing in the real world, and how real people are trying to uplift it and make it better and fill it with more love and light. So we are wishing you guys, you each, you listener, dear listener, so much love and light. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day, and do you self-love first. Love you guys. Bye.
Hey, beautiful people! We at STUK Designs have begun our crowdfunding campaign with iFund Women supported by Caress. We are raising money for expanding our programs, manufacturing art kits, setting up our studio that will be a space to empower women and girls through art and self-love, and a lot of other work that we have planned. We would love your help in our mission to provide girls in underserved communities art education and help them recognize and utilize the power of self-love. Visit our website www.stukdesigns.org for a link to our campaign. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. You can visit our website www.stukdesigns.org to shop our merch, make donations, join our blogging team, or be a part of our affiliate program. See you in our next episode. Love and light from us to you.